Most of them have dedicated their lives to their country. And they just got an email saying, fork in the road. And so I have one simple message to federal workers. Don't give up. The law is on your side. They are trying to harass you into leaving your position. This is a hostile takeover of the federal government. And I say those words advisedly. I promise you I didn't want to land here in the second week of the Trump administration. I talked to my staff about this. I said, this guy's a lame duck. He survived a shooting. He won the popular vote in the Electoral College. Sometimes people age out of their worst behavior. I'm not being sarcastic here. I had a little sliver in my head that said, I want to at least see that every hashtag resistance thing was not going to come to fruition. And here we are in the second week, and it is unlawful as hell. And I quote, "It is vital that the director and his political staff, not the careerists, drive these offices in pursuit of the president's actual priorities, not let them set their agenda based on the wishes of sprawling good government management community in and outside of government." That's great. The good government people, damn them. "Many directors do not properly prioritize the management portfolio, leaving it to the deputy for management, but such neglect creates the purposeless bureaucracy that impedes the president's agenda, an M train to nowhere." OFPP. "This office plays a critical role in leading the development of new policies and regulations concerning federal contracting and procurement through the Federal Acquisition Regulatory Council, which is generally chaired by OFPP administrator. OFPP helps the director to set a wide range of policies for all of those who contract with the executive branch. In the past, those government-wide contracting rules have played a key role in helping to implement the president's policy agenda. This office should be engaged early and often in OMB's effort to drive policy, including by obtaining transparency about entities that are awarded federal contracts and grants, by using government contracts to push back against woke policies in corporate America." You can see how it sort of sounds fine, and then suddenly they're like, whoa, push back against woke policies in corporate America. What the hell's that got to do with anything? And I don't even know how the Office of Management and Budget is supposed to what do you care if Coca-Cola is I don't know, pro-queer or something, or Pepsi, or I don't know, some, whatever, who cares? NBC Universal is wants climate action. Is that important for the federal government to have one opinion or the other about? And is it proper for the Office of Management and Budget in the executive office of the president to use the fiscal authority of the United States of America? And remember that this guy has this theory that he's the king's hand. He represents what the president thinks in all manners, right? And I remember, I've been a lieutenant governor, and I remember my governor, a very good friend of mine still, used to say, not for everything, by the way, but only on specific things, we'd be in a meeting, he says, he has all my authority on this. It was very generous of him. He delegated that specific authority to the lieutenant governor, and then I could represent him. What this guy's saying is the OMB director represents the president of the United States in all matters, and is going to use that to push back against woke policies in corporate America. That is not a proper use of presidential power. It is not a proper view of presidential power, right? First of all, the OMB director does not represent the president in all things. That's preposterous. That's a guy who's writing this who's going, I'm going to be OMB director, I might as well represent to the world that I'm all-powerful, right? But also, what the hell's that got to do with anything? And so you see these guys have a very specific view of the world, and it's not just I think the government should work this way or that way. They view this as a real war. And that's what, to me, is so kind of jarring. Because as I talk to Republican colleagues, like some of them probably see me as the enemy. But most of them don't. Most of them just think I've got bad ideas, like I think they've got bad ideas. But these people have a very different view of the American system of government and what's happening societally. And it's dressed up with a lot of like overeducated white shoe law firm language. But they really view the left as like an enemy. Not as just fellow Americans with like bad ideas, but the enemy. And they are going to utilize the power of the federal government to go after whatever they think is woke, right? And we saw it last week. We saw it last week, and it was so damn sad.